Hello, aspiring call center agent. This is Nayumi Cee speaking. For today's topic, we'll talk about my 10 most effective tips in landing a job at Concentrix and based on my experience. So this is based on my experience, and I dedicate this video for all newbies out there. If you're a newbie, then this video is dedicated for you, and if you're not a newbie, then that's still okay. You're still welcome to watch this video or listen to it. So yeah, most of you guys are like asking me what are the most effective tips or what are my tips in landing a call center job. So I think of creating this video to address that particular question of yours, guys. So I prepared the 10 things I did that made me pass all the interviews and assessments as well. All right, so let's begin with the first one. So I'll read it to you. So first is know the company you're applying for, their values, their accomplishments, and what they do in the industry. So most of you guys, some people would just randomly send their application to whatever company it may be. As long as it's a BPO company, they're just going to send their application there without even knowing the company's background, without knowing the company's accomplishments and such. And so when time comes that they will be asked, so what do you know about our company? Or how did you find out our company? And then you have nothing to say but to come up with your own words, which sometimes isn't true. So best really if you have an idea of what is the company you're applying for, their practices, and what they do in that industry. Okay, and I did that. When I applied at Concentrix a day or 2 days before my interview, I researched and I got to know a whole lot of ideas about it, and I believe that's the reason why I passed. Alright, next is this. This is very important. So it may seem simple, but you have to do this. So before your interview, prepare yourself. Eat breakfast, take a bath, wear a comfortable yet professional looking outfit, comb your hair, and smile. Okay, so if you do that, then I believe you are setting yourself to win the day. And I personally did this. This is also applicable not just for walk-in application or face-to-face interview. This also applies to virtual interviews. Like, you gotta feel that you are going to really apply, even if like your interviewer will personally see you, even if it's just an over the phone interview, right? So make yourself prepared by doing these practices, and I've done that, of course. And then number 3 is this. This is also crucial. So know what are the possible and common interview questions. And then you have to create your own answers based on the tips you've got online and related to your own experience in school, in life, or at your job or old job if you have one. So this is what I do really. When I was a newbie, I didn't have an idea about what are the possible interview questions and answers, but then I did my own research online. Of course, I've used YouTube, I've used Google and other platforms to come up with interview questions, and then I keep in mind the tips that I've got from those people who share their experiences, and then I created my own answers based on the tips they gave me. So of course we do have different life experiences, and my experience is different from yours. So yes, I do create sample questions and answers, but those are just samples. It doesn't mean that you have to copy it. You have to have your own unique answers. Okay, so I did this, and that helped me in really being able to give good answers. And then tip number 4 is review your sample answers. Familiarize yourself with it. Memorizing it will help, but don't memorize it word for word. And while reviewing, read it aloud so as to make sure you're pronouncing the words properly. So now that you already come up with your own answers based on the tips that you saw online and based on the questions that you saw online, then you have to review it. And when you say review it, there are multiple ways to review your answers. First is by recording your voice or how you answer it, by facing the camera or by looking yourself in front of the mirror, or you can also do it with a partner, with a friend, with a sibling, or whatever, whoever it may be. Maybe your close friend or whatever, whoever that is. Alright, doesn't matter. And also, yes, it helps if you memorize your answer, but it doesn't really help at all. It doesn't help 100%, especially if you memorize it word for word. Better if you understand what is it that you would like to answer, and you don't really have to like memorize it word for word, because tendency is if you forgot a certain word, then everything will not fall into its proper places, if you know what I mean. And then yes, I may not pronounce words very like correctly as Native Americans did, but the best thing that you can do when you are reviewing is to read it aloud, because especially if you are applying in a voice account, you have to talk to the customer itself, and of course you want to make sure that you are pronouncing it very well, and then you read it properly. All right, and I've done this, right? So that helped me really. Number 5 is this: avoid the no-nos and the red flags. So I'll give you what are those no-nos and red flags that you should never do. All right, the first one is this: never ever say a single Tagalog or non-English word. So I've given you this tip multiple times because my friend already experienced this. Like, she just said po and opo, and then she wasn't able to land a job simply because of that. Alright, that's a no-no. That's a red flag. And also, you have to avoid long silence, or like over 10 seconds of silence after the question was asked. So, one of the things I do whenever I forgot what is the next word or statement I have to say is to like pause a little bit, and then I'll give myself time to really think of what's the next thing I have to say. Like, once the interviewer, like, when the interviewer, like, is telling you what's the question, then you should formulate answers already while the interviewer, like, is, like, telling you what that word is or what's the question is. Okay, and yeah, it's normal to feel nervous, but contain it. You have to contain it. If not, you might lose the interview. You might not pass, or you will fail simply because you feel nervous. Kasi when you feel nervous, nandyan na pumapasok yung mental block na sinasabi, and when that happened, it will really ruin the interview. And when you ruin the interview, of course, the entire process will be ruined, and we don't want you to reapply. And second is, don't display arrogance or overconfidence. So, yes, I always say that it's okay to be confident, but avoid overconfidence or being boastful during the interview, okay? Stay low key. And then number 5, don't speak too low or too slow. When you say too low, like the tone of, like, your voice sounds so low that your interviewer couldn't hear you at all. Or too slow when you say your words like 5 seconds per word, like I like every 5 seconds, that's when you utter your words. So don't do that. Next is, don't show incompetence or unpreparedness. So they would feel like the first time they ask you a question and then you weren't able to answer it very well, it really would display that, or it would show that you weren't prepared for that interview at all, and that means you are a little incompetent. It may be harsh to some, but that's it. And then don't be a rule breaker. When you say rule breaker, when you were given a certain task, or you're given certain assessment to do, then do it properly, do it in a timely manner, follow the instructions carefully because they do check it also. And then avoid lying. Okay, avoid lying. They do have background check, and we don't want them to find out that we are lying because that can cause us to fail. And then number 6 is for virtual interviews, keep your lines open all the time, even at night. And then for face-to-face interviews, show up on time because it displays professionalism and deep interest with your job. Okay, so most of you failed the interview not because they were able to experience the interview, but because they missed the interview and they weren't around to pick up the call. And I always told, I will always say, I will tell my I will tell my referral to please keep your lines open all the time because the interviewer will only call you once, and if you won't be able to answer that, then they won't call you again. Alright, so you just missed the opportunity, so please avoid doing that. Same goes with face-to-face interview. You have to show up on time. If they say that you have to be present at 8 o'clock in the morning, then you have to go there at exactly 8 o'clock in the morning or even before 8 o'clock in the morning because it displays, yes, professionalism and deep interest. Alright, next tip is, this is a pro tip. So pro tip when answering interview question. So short and simple answers is okay. But if you can add a little more, it's way better. Remember that they don't just check your answers. They also check your vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, diction, and even intonation. So, sabi nila, it's okay to keep it short and simple. But for me, it's better if you answer it, a little longer because the longer the better, right? Because again, they also check other factors like your vocabulary, grammar, even your accent. So make sure to be careful with that as well. Number 8 is don't be scared or feel intimidated by your co-applicants, even to those who finished college and has experience. Because we are all unique and we all have something to offer to the table. So focus on your strengths. So, yes, because some of you guys would say, oh, I feel so intimidated because some of my co-applicants is like call center experience. Some of them are, college graduate, whereas me, I'm just a senior high level or senior high school graduate or anything like that. So, let's be fair, and they don't judge you based on the highest educational attainment you've got, but based on the skill, the abilities, and what is it that you can present in the table. Okay, so you have to focus on your strengths and capabilities. Alright, so tip number 9 is when you're answering interview questions, make sure to relate it to the job you're applying for or to yourself as well. So don't include your parents, church, other people, or things when answering because they don't care about that. They care about what you can offer to help their company grow. Because sometimes when we get to ask a certain question, yung isip natin is random na, out of place and anything like that. So make sure, always remember that the reason why you are asked by a certain question is because you're looking for a job. You're selling yourself. So make sure to relate it with the job that you're applying for. And also, by the way, make sure to know what is your job description or what is it that you are expected to do. So you get to know what are the characteristics they're looking for and you should match them. Okay, alright, so here we go. We're at the last step already, but I have a bonus tip for all of you. So comment down below if you're still with me. Claim it and set it in your mind that after that said interview will be signing your job offer already. So if you believe in law of attraction, then it really works. So if you set in your mind that you can do it, that you can pass that said interview, and you can land a job, then that will definitely happen. You just have to believe in yourself and you have to claim it. Alright, so my bonus tip is this. Offer your worries to the good Lord, because before going to any battle, you have to pray and ask for guidance. And yes, that would be it. I hope you've learned something out of this video. We do have a Facebook page. It's Nayumi Cee. If you have questions, you can reach out to me in that page. If you want me to refer you to the same company I'm working with, I can do that. Just feel free to send me a message, and make sure to share this video, like this video if you liked it. If not, give this a thumbs down. That's okay. Follow me in my social media accounts. You can also comment down below. I will reply to it. And when you subscribe to my channel, please make sure to turn on the notification bell button. And yes, thank you so much and have a good day. I'll see you again in my next video. Bye.